Welcome, fellow Patriots. Did you know that most Americans are unaware that they are being deprived of the prosperity and the well-being that they deserve? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You've heard these words many times before. These are our rights, granted to us by our Creator and certified by Congress. It says so in the Declaration of Independence. It is the law of the land. The government shall not in any way withhold or take away any of these rights from us. Furthermore, it is my firm belief that the government should promote these rights in every way possible. After all, our Creator not only granted these unalienable rights to us, but also desires that we are cared for in such a way that if we are hungry, we are given something to eat. If we are thirsty, we are given something to drink. If we need clothing, we are clothed. And if we are sick, we are looked after. So what about the pursuit of happiness? What does that mean? It means the enjoyment of life and liberty, being able to acquire and possess property, and pursue and obtain happiness and safety. In order to pursue happiness, we must have life and we must have liberty. Without both, the pursuit of happiness is not possible. So the pursuit of happiness is the pinnacle of the three. The ultimate test to determine if the government is fulfilling its obligation to support these rights is to see how well it is facilitating our pursuit of happiness. Let us examine the facts. There are many women today in America who are living in poverty and trying to raise a family. Their lives are difficult, to say the least. Sure, their basic needs are met. They have shelter, they have food, and they have clothing. But that is not a happy life. They live in poor conditions, are surrounded by crime, and have feelings of despair. How free are they to pursue happiness, to enjoy life, and to enjoy safety? They have little chance of any of these. If they try to further their education, the government is not there to help. If they get a job, or if they get married, the government takes away their benefits. Strike one for the government. There are also many Americans who get sick or become injured every year. They need medical attention and they need prescription drugs, but these things are very expensive. The government provides health care insurance, but the deductibles and copays add up to several thousands of dollars. Many cannot afford to pay, so they have a choice: either go without medical care or do not pay rent. Either suffer without treatment or go bankrupt and lose your home. Without health and well-being, there can be no happiness. Strike two for the government. Then there are those honorable Americans who work hard to serve our nation by doing their best at their jobs. But their pay is often not enough to allow them to pursue happiness, to support their families, to purchase a home, and to put their children through college. They have seen their workload increase because they have had to cover the duties of some of their colleagues who were laid off. They have seen their raises not keeping up with the cost of living and their benefits shrinking over time. All the while, the executives of their company have been lavished with big raises, fabulous bonuses, and other lucrative perks. the government has passed laws that make it difficult for these workers to organize and negotiate a fair share of pay and benefits, and for better working conditions. Strike 3 for the government. You're out. But even after 3 strikes, the government doesn't stop there. Americans have experienced all too frequent school shootings, skyrocketing murder rates, and out-of-control rioting and looting. The government has failed to pass any effective gun control legislation, has significantly reduced the size of police forces in many cities, and has released many violent offenders back on the street. As a result, we don't feel safe. Without safety, happiness is hard to come by. Strike 4 for the government. Then also, many of our children are receiving an inadequate education due to underperforming school systems. These schools often tolerate poor conduct and do not provide the much-needed individualized support and encouragement. The U.S. education system is only average at best compared with the rest of the world, and getting a good education usually requires going to a private school, which is too expensive for most families. When they grow up, many of our children will find that they have been deprived of income due to a substandard education, which reduces their standard of living and potential for happiness. Strike 5 for the government. I could continue to provide examples where our government has failed to support our right to happiness, and I am certain that you could provide some examples as well, based on your own knowledge and experience. I am convinced that these examples provide proof enough that we have been deprived of prosperity and well-being that lead to greater joy and happiness. The Declaration of Independence has one more thing to say about this, and that is, if our government is failing to fulfill its responsibility to support these rights, then we, the people, have the right to alter the government in order to restore them. Changes to our government will require action. We cannot afford to be so comfortable in our lives that we are willing to remain idle while our freedom and prosperity slowly erode away. That would seal our fate and the fate of our children. No action will ever arise from indifference. Indifference is a choice that only benefits those who fail to uphold our rights. It ignores the unfortunate, it ignores the struggling, and it ignores the hopeless. Are we to look the other way from those who are poor, those who go without medical attention, and those who are homeless? Are we to tolerate workplace abuse and a poor education for our children? Are we to remain afraid that we or one of our family members will become the next victim of gun violence? How can we choose to do nothing which will only magnify the suffering of our fellow Americans by adding despair? Not responding to their plight takes away from our humanity. In denying them, we betray our country and ourselves. This is the American Patriots channel. It's the platform for the Second American Revolution. We stand for peaceful and lawful reform of the government in order to restore our rights and restore America to the country that it was intended to be. From our very nature as Americans springs forth the fighting spirit, which alone entitles us to look to the future with hope and joy. At first, there will be honor of fighting to set right the course of our nation. And through the months, we will keep our gaze firmly affixed upon our desire to free ourselves from a government that oppresses us and that deprives us of our rights. And finally, the day will come when we experience the life that people of all nations dream of, a life of equality, a life of prosperity, and a life of happiness. Then, even at the close of our lives, we will not despair, because we will know of the good that we have done, and that good will live on. And the generations that follow will continue to reap the benefits of our victorious effort. Please join me in this fight by subscribing to this channel, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with others so that everyone will know the American Patriots are coming. Thanks for watching. God bless America.
Many months of sacrifice and self-discipline lie ahead, months in which both our patience and our will be tested, months in which many threats and denunciations will keep us aware of our dangers. But the greatest danger of all would be to do nothing. The path we have chosen for the present is full of hazards, as all paths are. But it is the one most consistent with our character and courage as a nation and our commitments around the world. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission.